Yes, sir. Very happy evening to all. Sir, we are moving into the fourth slot of computation of GST payable, which is question number 10, 11, and 12. This is an RTP question, question number 10. According to me, a brilliant question. Fantastic question. Be ready with your calculator when I am discussing this question. J Associates, a proprietorship firm in Lucknow, registered under GST, manufacture three taxable products: Zeta, Sigma, Omega. So they are dealing with how many products? So products classified into three category, three products. One is Zeta, other is Sigma, and third one is Omega. Fantastic to the core. Coming back. The following information has been provided by J Associates for a particular tax period. Omega and Zeta are sold in domestic market as well as exported outside India. Who and who? The domestic turnover, excluding export sales of Zeta and Omega, are 21 lakhs and 15 lakhs respectively. They have interchanged. First they said Omega and Zeta, but when they are saying the numerical, they have changed to Zeta and what? Omega. Right, sir? So, Zeta classified into two category. Domestic turnover is there and export turnover is there. Even for Omega, domestic turnover is there and export turnover is there. What is the domestic turnover of Zeta and Omega? 21 lakhs and 15 lakhs. So 21 lakhs for Zeta and 15 lakhs for Omega. Shall I proceed further? Export turnover of Zeta with the payment of IGST not eligible to avail the benefit of merchant export under notification number something bar something is 3.75 lakh. That means the export turnover of Zeta is 3.75 lakh. For Zeta, export turnover is 3.75 lakh. And Omega worth rupees 15 lakh is exported. For Omega, export turnover is 15 lakh. Shall I proceed further? Tax on Sigma is payable under what charge? Reverse charge. Sigma is being sold only domestically, and domestic turnover of Sigma is 9 lakh. Sigma only domestic turnover 9 lakh RCM, there is no export turnover. So no need to collect the output tax by ourselves because the recipient will pay tax at RCM. You don't pay tax at RCM and all. Whenever you are hearing RCM, don't pay RCM. This is sales details, not the purchase details. Only on purchase we are supposed to pay RCM. This is sales. That means the recipient will pay tax at RCM. So don't include in the computation of GST collected. The firm is also engaged in providing taxable consultancy services. Service also they are providing. Consultancy service of 30 lakh have been provided to unrelated client located in foreign country. That means service provider is situated in India, service recipient is situated outside India, place of supply is situated outside India. If the amount of consideration is received in foreign currency, and also, sir, if it is permitted as per the RBI, and if they are not near establishment of the distinct entity, then it will be treated as export of services. Once it is export of services, it is zero rated, man. In all cases, consideration has been received in convertible what exchange? Foreign exchange. So all the five conditions of export of service has been satisfied. So consultancy service is export of service. So this is a what rated supply. Fantastic to the core. The firm sold the shares. Shares are neither goods nor services. Goods and service definition exclude both shares and securities. Money and securities held by it for 370 lakh, which were earlier purchased at a price of 360 lakhs. That means no need to collect any output tax on this item. Due to shortage of fund, it sold one of the factory building. Building are not goods, because goods means every kind of movable property. Building is not movable property. Anything other than goods are services, but building are covered in the schedule 2 and schedule 3 for 180 lakhs, excluding stamp duty value of 3.5 lakhs being 2% of the value. The entire consideration is received post issuance of completion certificate. Building was occupied thereafter. That means, sir, since the entire consideration has been received after receipt of the completion certificate, it is neither supply of goods nor supply of, it is a negative list item covered in schedule 3. The firm earned an interest of 6 lakh on money invested in FD with Gaba Bank. Selectioning deposit, loan or advance for which the consideration has been received by way of interest or discount are exempt from GST. This is an exempt supply. Detail of input and input service availed by the firm during the said tax period are as under. The firm received legal services from an advocate in relation to product Zeta. Zeta. What is Zeta? We are both doing domestic turnover and export turnover for a consideration of 5.25 lakh. RCM. Remaining input and input service availed during the tax period worth 52.5 lakhs and 22.5 lakhs respectively have been commonly used for supply of goods and services mentioned above. That means we have to do the apportionment. You are required to compute the net GST liability of J associates payable from electronic credit ledger or electronic cash ledger as the case may be for given tax period using the above mentioned information. All the above transactions are exclusive of GST wherever applicable. Assume that rate of GST on inward and outward supply of goods and services. Goods means 12% and service means respectively. Ignore bifurcation of CGST, SGST, IGST. We don't want 3 column, 4 column and all. For the sake of simplicity, subject to information given above, assume that all the other conditions necessary for availing ITC have been fulfilled. Turnover of J Associates was 72 lakh in the preceding financial year. Unless otherwise mentioned, exports are made under what? LUT. What a brilliant question according to me. I will explain you one by one. Try to place the things one by one. First of all, turnover of Zeta. You just see and say, Zeta, both we are having domestic turnover and export. How much domestic turnover? 21 lakhs. Is it FCM or RCM? FCM. For goods, what is the rate? So 21 lakh into 12% come to 2,52,000. Without confusion, we can write. I am writing only CGST. I am not writing CGST, SGST, SGST. Just GST column I am filling. Next one. Turnover of Sigma. Come to Sigma. Sigma domestic turnover is how much lakh? 9 lakh. But it is on RCM. That means the person liable to pay GST is the recipient. Comfortable, sir? Sir, tax on Sigma is payable under reverse charge by the recipient of such goods. So 9 lakh, we don't have any output tax liability. Shall I proceed further? Turnover of Omega. Come to Omega. We are doing both domestic turnover and export turnover. Domestic turnover is how much lakh? 15 lakh. 15 lakh. What is the rate for goods? 15 lakh into 12% comes to 1,80,000 is the output tax collected. Now, coming to the next one, export of Zeta. You tell me Zeta we have exported by payment of what? IGST. So it should be added to the what tax collected. So 3,75,000 is the value into rate is 12%. So 3,75,000 to 12% comes to, right? Sir, we have exported Omega, but in Omega they have not said that. They have exported by payment of IGST. At the end they said that we have exported by using bond or LUT. So for this 15 lakh, what will not come? Output tax collected will not. Export of goods is a what rated supply? In terms of section 16, subsection 1, clause A of the IGST Act, a zero rated supply can be supplied without payment of tax under a LUT. In terms of section 16, subsection 3, clause of that act. Are you comfortable? Next one. Consultancy services provided to independent client located in what currency? Sir, this activity is a dash of service. In terms of section 2(6) of the IGST Act, as the supplier of the service is located in India, condition number 1, and the recipient of the service is located outside India, condition number 2, place of supply of service is situated outside India, condition number 3, and payment for the service has been received in convertible what exchange or in Indian currency wherever permitted by RBI, condition number what? And supplier of service and the recipient of service are not merely establishment of what person? As per condition number 5. Since all the 5 conditions has been satisfied, it will be treated as export of. Once it is an export of services, it will become a zero rated supply. Zero rated supply can be exported with bond or LUT. No need to collect any output tax. Are you comfortable? So export of service is a what rated supply. In terms of section 16, subsection 1, clause A of the what act, a zero rated supply can be supplied without payment of tax under LUT in terms of section 16, subsection 3, clause A of that act. Comfortable, sir? Then they are talking about sale of shares. You tell me shares are neither goods nor what? In terms of section 2, subsection 52, which is talking about the definition of the goods. 2 subsection 1 or 2 talking about the definition of, hence sale of share is neither a supply of goods nor a supply of service, hence not liable to collect any tax. So for this 3 crore 75 lakh, no need to collect any output tax. Sale of building is a consideration has been received before issuance of completion certificate or after issuance of completion certificate. So sale of building is neither supply of goods nor supply of services in terms of para 5 of what 3 to the CGST Act, provided the entire consideration has been received after issuance of what certificate by the competent authority or after its what occupation, whichever is what earlier. Sir, specifically said that in the question they specifically highlighted that occupation is only after the what certificate completion. Sir. Hence, it is neither supply of goods nor supply of. So we are not supposed to collect any output tax. Comfortable, sir. Interest received on investment in FD, sir, extending deposit loan or advance in so far as the consideration has been received by way of are exempt from GST. Hence, for this 6 lakh also, we are not supposed to collect any output tax. So, total GST payable on outward supply is 4,77,000. This include domestic supply. This include export IGST. Every outward supply we have done 4,77,000. Comfortable, sir. My dear lovable students, I'm going to compute the common credit because question itself said that input, inward input and input services has been used to provide both taxable as well as exempted. So I have to find out the what turnover, exempt turnover and the total turnover. We have done lot of similar question. You tell me, sir, question specifically said that. Read here. Sir, remaining input and input services. Input has been purchased for 52 lakh and the input service has been purchased for 22 lakh. You tell me, man. So, ITC, goods and services will come. Goods 52 lakh 50,000 and 22 lakh 50,000. For 52 lakh 50,000, you would have paid how much percent? Totally 6 lakh, how much? For input services for 22 lakh 50,000, you would have paid how much? Comes to how much? 4 lakh 5,000. So totally the common credit is 10 lakh 35,000. Hello, sir. This is what common credit of 10 lakh 35,000, which is nothing but raw material purchased into rate what we paid, input service into rate what we paid. We will get the common credit. This has to be a portion. Common credit into E by F. E stands for the export turnover and the exempt turnover, and F stands for the full turnover, which is the total turnover. We are having a definition how to compute E. This is very important, man. As per section 17, subsection 3, only this has been tested in this question. Value of what supply? Exempt supply. Include supply on which recipient is liable to pay tax on what charge basis. That means exempt supply include RCM supply plus transaction in what? Securities, sale of land and subject to clause B of para 5 of what 2? That is sale of what? Building. Even the negative list item will also be included in the exempt supply. As per explanation to chapter 5 of the what rule, value of exempt supply in respect of what and what is the value adopted for paying what duty, and security is 1% of the sale value of such security. These are the valuation rules. Many questions we have done. At least 25 questions we have solved from this ITC chapter. Comfortable, sir. Further, as per explanation to rule number what? 42. Aggregate value of what supply? Inter alia exclude. Because here we are talking about include. Here we are talking about what? Exclude. Value of service by way of accepting what? Deposit. Extending loan or advance. In so far as the consideration is represented by way of, except in case of what company or financial institution, including an NBFC, engage in supplying services by accepting deposit, extending loan, or. So based on this, I am going to calculate the exempt supply and also the total supply. Shall we? You tell me. I am going to calculate the exempt supply, man. First one, RCM. What is the turnover of RCM supply? Which item is RCM? Sigma. What is the taxable value of sigma given in the question? 9 lakhs is the sigma value. So sigma value is 9 lakhs. Yes, sir. So will that form part of exempt supply? Yes, sir. So 9 lakh I have taken into consideration. Building. Sir, even though building is covered in schedule 3, will that be form part of exempt supply? Yes, sir. But you will not take the whole value. You have to take the what duty value? Stamp duty value. How much percentage you paid? 2% you paid. How much is the stamp duty value? 3,50,000. So 3,50,000 divided by 2% comes to, sir, 3,50,000 divided by 2% comes to 1 crore 75 lakhs is the stamp duty value. That value you have to adopt as the turnover for the exempt supply. Share, actually share are neither supply of goods nor supply of services, but it will still be included in the exempt supply. And for share, you have to value 1% of the sale consideration. What is the sale consideration given in the question? 37,50,000. Sorry, 3 crore 75 lakhs into 1% comes to 3,75,000. So the total exempt turnover comes to 1 crore 87 lakhs 75,000. Comfortable, sir? Now I am going to calculate the total turnover. Total turnover product wise, zeta, you have done domestic turnover and export turnover. Both I have to include. Sigma, you have done both domestic turnover and export turnover. Both you have to include. Omega, you have done both domestic turnover and export turnover. Both you have to include. If you add the outward supply itself, you are getting 63 lakh what? 75,000. Not only this, all the special item should be included in the total turnover. Number one, service, which is export of services. How much lakh? 30 lakh. Export of services is a zero rated supply. All the 5 condition has been satisfied. This will not be included in the exempt supply because zero rated supply are taxable supply, right? But this will be included in the total turnover, right, sir? Sir, even building will be included in the total turnover, but I will not include the sale consideration. I have to include the stamp duty value. Already stamp duty value find out here 1 crore 75 lakh. The same 1 crore 75 lakh I have to include, right? The next one, sir. Sir, I have received interest. Specifically mentioned that exempt supply does not include interest, but total turnover should include interest. That's why 6 lakh I have included, right, sir? Sale of shares. Sale of shares has been included in the what supply? Exempt supply. What is the value we adopted? 1% of the sale consideration, which comes to 3 lakh. That will form part of what turnover also? Total turnover also. So 2 crore 78 lakh 50,000 is the what turnover. So my proportion is 1 crore 87 lakh 75,000 divided by 2 crore 78 lakh 50,000. Are you all really with me? My dear lovable students, this into common credit. Have you got the common credit? Yes, sir. I already know that 10 lakh 35,000 is there. So 10 lakh 35,000 into 1 crore 87 lakh 75,000 divided by 2 crore 78 lakh 50,000 will be the share of what? Exempt turnover. So calculator, sir, 10 lakh 35,000 into 1 crore 87 lakh 75,000 divided by 2 crore 78 lakh 50,000, you will be end up with the share of exempt turnover comes to 6,97,742. That you have to put it on dustbin. Comfortable, sir? So you tell me computation of ITC available in electronic credit ledger of J associates for the tax period. You tell me what is a common credit on input and input services. How much? 10 lakh. This is the common credit. Just now we find out. Right, sir? Add legal services used in the manufacture of what product? Taxable product, zeta. For this legal services, you would have paid tax under what CM? RCM. This can be taken as ITC, which comes to 94,000. So the total ITC available in the electronic credit ledger will be 11,29,500. Right? From that 11,29,500, you have to disallow 6,97,742. Just now you have calculated based upon the common credit into exempt turnover divided by. So you have to disallow 6,97,742. So the net ITC available will be 4,31,000. So computation of net GST liability, the final one. Shall we? What is the GST payable on outward supply? You already calculated in step number 1. What is the total GST collected? 4,77,000. Comfortable, sir? 4,77,000 less ITC credit as computed earlier. How much is only allowable? That means GST payable through electronic cash ledger would be 45,242. In addition to that, this is the GST payable on what CM? FCM. But still we are having GST payable on? Sir, add GST payable on legal services under what charge? For 5,25,000 into how much percent? Sir, tax on legal service provided by an advocate to a what entity is payable under what charge? By the business entity in terms of notification number something bar something dated something bar something. Further, such service are not eligible for exemption provided under notification number something as the turnover of the what entity? J associates in the preceding financial year exceeds how much lakh? Since in the immediately preceding previous year, J associates turnover exceed the threshold limit for registration, this service are not exempted. So, sir, FCM plus what CM? Total GST paid from electronic what ledger? As per 49 subsection 4, amount available in the electronic credit ledger may be used for making payment of towards what tax? Our tax payable under reverse charge is not a what tax. Therefore, input tax credit cannot be used to pay tax payable under what charge? And this tax payable under reverse charge will have to be paid in. So this amount, 1,39,742, should pay from your pocket as through electronic what ledger? Cash ledger. What a question, my dear lovable students. This is one of the expected question for this attempt because this is a RTP very latest May 2023 question. So my dear lovable students, we are in slot number 4. In that slot number 4, 3 questions we have to solve. In that question number 10 has been solved. Take a break. Do this question number 10 by your own. Then continue listening of question number 11 and 12. And if you are feeling comfortable, inform your comfortness by way of comment, my dear lovable students. We'll be waiting you till you complete this question illustration number 10.
Sir, very happy morning to all. Sir, we are in the slot number 4. We have done illustration number 10. I am going to do illustration number 11. Fine. Illustration number 11. Mrs. John T. India Limited, a manufacturer of heavy machine registered for Jaipur, Rajasthan, supplied one machine to Mrs. Dhanuka Limited of Udaipur, Rajasthan. That means both the supplier and the recipient are situated in the same state. That means it's a dash state supply on 5/2/2021 under an invoice on the same date. Using the information given below, compute the value of the machine. That means basically they are testing the value of supply as per section 15 and GST payable, CGST, SGST or IGST as the case may be in cash for the month of February by Mrs. John T. India Limited with appropriate working notes. Assume rate of CGST, SGST and IGST on machine to be 9%, 9% and 18% respectively. Point number 1. The basic price of the machine excluding taxes and discount is 28,50,000. As we all know that as per section 15 of the CGST Act, value of supply include the price actually paid or payable. So this 28,50,000 should form part of value of supply. Trade discount is allowed at 3% on the basic price and is shown in the invoice 85,500. That means, my dear lovable students, they have provided a discount as per 15 subsection 3. Any discount which has been specifically shown in the invoice can be reduced. So this 85,500 can be reduced. Secondary packing in iron sheet charged for safe transportation of the machine on the request of the buyer. As we all know that, sir, this is a incidental expenses. Incidental expenses should form part of the value of supply. So this 30,000 should be included in the value of supply. Design and engineering charges of the machine. Design and engineering charges is again an incidental expenses. It should form part of the value of supply. tax levied by municipal authority on the sale of the machine, as we all know that any taxes other than GST should be included in the value of supply. So that 25,000 should be included in the value of supply. Subsidy received by supplier from state government to encourage manufacture of the machine. This subsidy has been received from the state government. So subsidy other than government subsidy should be included in the value of consideration. So this 80,000 is a subsidy received from state government. Pre-delivery inspection charges paid to an independent agency in terms of agreement for supply. Amount was paid by Messrs. Dhanuka Limited. Who is Dhanuka Limited? Whether the Dhanuka is supplier or the recipient. Recipient. That means amount incurred by the recipient on behalf of the supplier should be included in the value of supply. Interest amount paid by Dhanuka Limited for delay in payment of machinery. That means charges paid for delay in payment of consideration should be included in the value of supply. So these are the inward supplies, my dear lovable students. IGST paid on food supply for consumption by employee working in the factory. This is a what credit? Blocked credit. So we can't take what? ITC. SGST and CGST 15,000 each. It's not total. CGST 15,000 and SGST 15,000 on electrical transformer used in the manufacturing process can be claimed as ITC. Mrs. John T. India Limited has no ITC balance at the beginning of February. All other conditions necessary for availing the eligible ITC have been fulfilled. There are no other transaction of supply during the month of February, and Mrs. John T. India Limited and Mrs. Dhanuka are not related person. That means they are specifically mentioning that SRS condition has been satisfied. Since they are not related person, R will not get affected because there should be supply of goods or services or both. Such supply should be to an unrelated person and price should be the sole consideration. If SRS condition satisfied, my dear lovable students, then transaction value is equal to assessable value. Sir, always there will be a doubt that what is transaction value? Transaction value means price actually paid or payable. With this background, back note, we are going to discuss the answer. Taxability of each is as follows. The basic price of the machine, exclusive of taxes and discount, it is includable in the value of the part of the transaction value, which is 28,50,000. So my dear lovable students, that is the basic price. That basic price does not include the, sir, both the taxes and discount. So if any tax other than GST has been collected, should be manually added. If any discount has been provided, and if that discount has satisfied the 15 subsection 3 condition, that has to be reduced. Coming to the next one, the second adjustment, man. Sir, trade discount is allowed at how much percentage? 3%. So trade discount is allowed at 3% on the basic price and is shown in the invoice. As per 15 subsection 3, the condition to be satisfied is, sir, you have to show in the invoice. So allowed as deduction, discount given at the time of supply, 15 subsection 3, 85,500. Coming to the secondary packing. Secondary packing in what sheet? Iron sheet. Charges for safe transportation of the machine on the request of the buyer. This is an additional amount charged or collected by the supplier to the recipient. So includable as expenses, includable incurred before or at the time of supply. Section 15 subsection 2 clause C. How much rupees, man? 30,000 should be manually included. Design and engineering charges of the machine. Sir, this is an incidental expenses, should be included in the value of supply. Sir, includable as expense incurred before or at the time of supply as per 15 subsection 2 clause C. So this 90,000 should be included in the value of supply. Tax levied by municipal authority on the sale of the machine. We all know that in the value of supply, all taxes other than GST should be So value includes taxes other than GST as per 15 subsection 2 clause A. So 25,000 should be included. Subsidy received by supplier from state government to encourage manufacture of the machine. Subsidy given by government will not be included in the value because we got the subsidy from the government. If we included in the value of supply will increase, right? Sir, again, we have to pay GST on that to the government itself. So consideration excludes government subsidy. Hence, we are not supposed to include that in the value of supply. But if subsidy has been given by any person other than government, that should be included in the what of supply? Value of supply. Pre-delivery inspection charges paid to an independent agency in terms of agreement for supply. This is what important. In terms of agreement for supply, the amount was paid by Dhanuka Limited. Dhanuka is the recipient, my dear lovable students. So amount incurred by the recipient on behalf of the, so liability of the supplier incurred by recipient should included in the value as per 15 subsection 2 clause B, which is 22,000. Interest amount paid by Messrs. Dhanuka Limited for delay in payment of the for the machine. Sir, delay in payment of consideration should be included in the, so includable as per 15 subsection 2 clause D, 12,000. So the total value comes to 29,43,500. This is the what of supply. On this 29,43,500 into how much percentage? 9%. And 29,43,500 into how much percentage? 9%. Are you all really with me, sir? So this will be the GST payable. Tell me, calculate and tell me what is the CGST payable you are getting? 2,64,915. And SGST is also 2,64,000. Now we are going to claim the ITC on inward supply. IGST paid on food item for consumption of employee working in the factory. This is a what credit? Since this is a blocked credit, you are not entitled to take. So blocked input tax credit as supply used for personal consumption. Section 17, subsection 5, clause G. So even though GST has been paid, we are not entitled to claim it as ITC. Then SGST and CGST, how much each? Paid on electrical transformer used in the manufacturing process. This is a capital goods. We are entitled to claim ITC on what goods? Capital goods. So ITC is eligible if depreciation on GST component is not claimed as per 16 subsection 3. So 30,000 is ITC available. You tell me CGST credit of 15,000 is there and SGST credit of 15,000 is there. So I am going to knock off that ITC available, CGST 15,000 and SGST 15,000. What is the CGST payable? 2,64,915. From 2,64,915, if you reduce 15,000, what is a mathematical answer you are getting? 2,49,915 is the net CGST payable. And 2,49,915 is the net, that's the net tax payable, CGST and SGST as supply within the state. Comfortable, sir? Hence, the net GST payable is CGST 2,49,915 and SGST 2,49,915. So this question basically discussing about the value of supply. So if you are thorough with section 15, my dear lovable students, you'll be able to solve this question. And this question is a past examination November 2018 question. So you tell me, sir, we'll be quickly going through the adjustment. Basic price, sir, should be included in the what of supply? Value of supply. So already given in the question, so we have not done anything. Trade discount, sir, trade discount is an inclusion or exclusion? Exclusion as per 15 subsection 2 or 15 subsection 3? 15 subsection 3. If 15 subsection 3 discount has been specifically mentioned in the invoice, then it has to be excluded. Condition has been satisfied, so we have reduced. Sir, is this packing, primary packing, secondary packing? If that consideration is collected from the recipient, it will become an incidental expenses. incidental expenses should be included in the value of supply as per 15 subsection 2 clause C. Clause C is talking about incidental expenses. So we have to see whether an expense incurred by the supplier is what expenses or not. So we have to see whether an expense incurred by the supplier is incidental expense or not. So as per 15 is the value of supply. Subsection 2 is the inclusion. Clause C, we have to see, my dear lovable students, whether the amount incurred by the supplier should be included in the what of supply, value of supply. Now coming to design and engineering charges. Again, that is also a what expenses. So we have to see whether the amount incurred by the supplier is an incidental expense or not as per 15 subsection 2 clause. Tax levied by municipal authority. You know, we have to include all taxes other than what? GST. What taxes? That's what A stands for all taxes. 15 subsection 2 clause A. A stands for all taxes other than GST. This is not a GST, so it should be included in the value of supply. Subsidy received by supplier from the what government? State government. You know, this subsidy is received from government. So since subsidy is received from government, this will not form part of the what of supply, value of supply. So clause A, all taxes other than what? GST. We have not till now counted clause B. Clause C, we have to see whether any expense incurred by the supplier is an incidental expenses or not. Right, sir? Clause E, subsidy. Right, sir. Coming to the next one, sir. Sir, pre-delivery inspection charges paid to an independent agency in terms of agreement for supply. But the amount was paid by Danuga Limited. That means the amount incurred by the recipient on behalf. B stands for behalf. On behalf of the supplier. So, amount incurred by the recipient on behalf of the supplier. So, A stands for all taxes other than GST. B stands for on behalf. That means amount incurred by the recipient on behalf of the. C stands for we have to see whether any amount incurred by the supplier is incidental expenses or not. Right? Coming to the next one, man. Interest amount paid by Messrs. Danuga Limited for delay. 15 subsection 2 clause B for delayed payment of consideration. So D stands for delayed payment of consideration. What is clause A? All taxes other than GST. What is clause B? On behalf, amount incurred by the recipient on behalf of the supplier. What is clause C? We have to check whether the amount incurred by the supplier is incidental or not. What is clause D? Delayed amount paid by the recipient for delayed payment of consideration. What is clause E? Subsidy. Sir, that's it, man. Other than government. Sir, that's it with regard to the clauses, man. These are the various clauses. I believe that you are very comfortable with illustration number 11. I'm moving into illustration number 12, man. Illustration number 12 is the last illustration from this slot. We have done illustration number what and what? 10 and 11. So in this fourth slot, we are moving into the last illustration, which is illustration number 12. Mr. Rishi, a registered supplier, sir, under GST in the state of Maharashtra, provides the following information for the month of January 2022. Sir, these are the outward supply. They themselves made a table and given that these are the what supply? Supplied computer, which were purchased from an unregistered supplier without any consideration to his brother-in-law. In Ranchi, market value of the supply was 62,000. Since there is no consideration, they have put it as nil. You tell me, as per section 7, subsection 1, clause A, supply includes all forms of supply of goods or services or both, such as sale, barter, transfer, exchange, license, lease, rental, or disposal, made or agreed to be made for a consideration by a person in the course or furtherance of business. So, in order to be a supply, Consideration is mandatory, but the exceptions are covered in Schedule 1. Schedule 1 can be classified into 4 parts: Para 1, Para 2, Para 3, and Para 4. Para 1 is permanent transfer or disposal of business asset where ITC has been availed. Para 2, supply of goods or services or both between related or distinct persons as specified in the course or furtherance of business. And Para 3, supply of goods between principal and agent. And the last one, Para number 4, comes to importation of services from a related person or establishment which is situated outside India, made in the course or furtherance of business. You just, sir, check here, my dear lovable students. If you check here, sir, supplied computer. Yes, supply of computer is a supply of goods which are purchased from unregistered supplier. That's not a big deal. Without any consideration to his brother-in-law. First of all, sir, since the computer has been purchased from an unregistered person, sir, there is no question of taking ITC at all. So permanent transfer or disposal of business asset where ITC has been availed, that clause will not get affected. The number 2 is supply of, sir, goods or services or both between related person or what? Distinct person. We know there is a definition of related person. Related person definition classified into 2 categories: based upon relationship, based upon control. Based upon relationship, officers or directors of one another's business. Legally recognized partner, employer and employee, members of the same family, and the sole agent, sole distributor, and sole concessionaire of the other. You tell me, brother-in-law is member of the same family or other than member of the same family? Brother-in-law is member of the same family, or it is not the what member of the what family? Same family. So he is not a related person. So look at here, man. Computer supplied without consideration, not a supply, as it made, first of all, without consideration. There is no consideration. Since there is no consideration, that activity or transaction will not fall in section 7 subsection 1 what A, clause A, and is also not covered in what 1, schedule 1, because computer has been supplied to a what person? Unregistered person, unrelated person, sorry, and ITC has also not been availed on the same. Since it is not falling 7 subsection 1 clause A, and this activity or transaction has not fallen in 7 subsection 1 clause C, read with schedule 1 and para 1 or para 2, my dear lovable students, there is no GST liability. There is no GST liability at all. Are you all really with me? I'm moving to the second adjustment. Come to the second adjustment. So in outward supply, first adjustment we have taken care. Supplied a consignment of 10 laptop. So we have supplied 10 laptop to Messrs. NK and Co. in the state of Maharashtra. First of all, where we are in, we are also in the state of Maharashtra. So it's a dash state supply at the instruction of third person, being Messrs. ZX Computers of Tamil Nadu, which is how much lakh? 6 lakh. So my dear lovable students, hello sir. So actually there are 3 parties are there in the transaction. Whenever 3 parties are there, it will be treated as bill to ship transaction. It will be treated as what to ship transaction. Who is the third person in this question? Third person is ZX Computers. They called us and we are the actual supplier, and sir, we have supplied to NK and Co. They are the actual recipient. So we are going to see about that item. Consignment of laptop supplied at the instruction of what person? Third person. Since supply is a dash to ship supply, bill to ship supply, where the goods are delivered on the direction of the what person? Third person. ZX Computers. Goods are deemed to be received by ZX Computers, and the place of supply is Tamil Nadu. Hence, it is a dash state supply. We all know that in case of bill to ship transaction, 2 supply will be there. Actually, in a bill to ship transaction, 3 parties will be there, my dear lovable students. Who's the party number 1? You tell me. Sir, 3 parties will be there. Sir, 3 parties. Party number 1 is actual supplier, and number 2 is what? Third person, and the actual recipient. Who will call whom? The third person will call the actual supplier. So, place of supply between third person and what supplier? Actual supplier, right? Third person and actual supplier, or actual supplier and third person, from where the goods will move. Actually, from actual supplier, the goods should move. So the place of supply number 1 for my dear lovable students, actual supplier and the what person? Third person should be covered under 10 subsection 1 class B, which is bill to ship transaction. As per this thing, place of supply is the principal place of the third person. Are you comfortable? Now coming man, sir, place of supply number 2. But there is a number second supply also, which is between the dash and dash, third person and the actual recipient. This will be covered under 10 subsection 1 class A. There where the movement terminates for delivery of goods to the recipient will be the place of supply. So my dear lovable students, here in our question, are we worried about are we an actual supplier or third person or actual recipient? So between actual supplier and the third person, place of supply has to be determined as per section 10 subsection 1 clause B, which is bill to ship transaction, which is, sir, principal place of the third person will be the place of supply. Since the third person is situated in Tamil Nadu and we are situated in Maharashtra, it's a dash state supply, interstate supply. For interstate supply, we are supposed to collect what? IGST. So for this 6 lakh, we are supposed to collect what? IGST. Sir, I'm reading once again for your benefit, man. Consignment of laptop supplied at the instruction of what person? Third person. Since supply is a dash to ship supply, bill to ship supply, where the goods are delivered on the direction of what person? ZX computers are deemed to be received by ZX computers, and thus the place of supply is Tamil Nadu, hence it's a dash state supply, interstate supply. So for this, how much lakh? 6 lakh. 6 lakhs into how much percent? 18%, which comes to 1,08,000 is the IGST to be collected, which is the what tax collected? Output tax collected. Comfortable, sir? Coming to third outward supply, provided stock counting services to Messrs. XY Impex registered with GST in the state of Gujarat, where we are situating Maharashtra. But we provided service to a person who are registered in Gujarat. Whereas the place where the stock counting was carried out was at the godown located in where? Mumbai. You tell me, is this which place of supply provision should be applicable for this? 12.2 general provision. Is stock counting services a specific notified place of supply item? 80,000 rupees. So 12.2 location of you have to check whether the supply has been provided to a what or what? A registered person or not. If it is to a registered person, location of stock counting services to Messrs. XY Impex of Gujarat. It's a dash state supply, intra-state supply. As a place of supply is a location of the what? Recipient. Which Mumbai go down at Mumbai being fixed place of establishment is a location of the what? Recipient. So where we are situating? We are situating in Maharashtra. Even the recipient, where the recipient is registered, sir, provided stock counting services to Messrs. XY Impex registered with GST in the state of Gujarat. Sir, the recipient is actually registered in what? Gujarat. Whereas place where the stock counting was carried out at godown located in where? Mumbai. Sir, actually through this adjustment, what they are testing is, my dear lovable students, location of the recipient. That is a definition. Location of the recipient definition is there. That definition they are testing, which is there in our material, and we have done one question also from that area at various circumstances. We have to refer that question. If possible, after this question, I will be redoing that question once again for your recall purpose. So even though the recipient is registered in Gujarat, that will not be the place of supply, because the consumption has not been happened at where? Gujarat. The consumption has happened at the godown where it is situated. That is in where? Mumbai, Maharashtra. So since both the service provider and service recipient are situated in the same state and place of supply are also in the same state, it's a dash state supply. So if you don't know the definition of the recipient, it is little difficult to place this transaction, my dear lovable students. After this question, I will revise that concept. That will be helpful for you. So my dear lovable students, sir, stock counting services to Messrs. XY Impacts of Gujarat. It's a dash state supply, intra-state supply. As the place of supply is a location of the recipient versus Mumbai godown at Mumbai being fixed establishment is the location of the what? Recipient. So for this 80,000, 9% CGST and 9% SGST and IGST will not come. Comfortable, sir? So here, for this point, you should revise the definition of recipient. Definition of recipient. Fantastic to the code. Coming to the point number 4. Sir, provided renting services, sir, of a service apartment in Mumbai. Renting services of his what apartment? Service apartment. His service apartment is relating to immobile property? Yes, sir. At Mumbai, at a daily rent of 1,500 for residential purpose. For daily rent, residential purpose. You tell me which place of supply section will be applicable. Which place of supply for an immobile property is 12.3 will be applicable? Location where the immobile property is situated or intended to be situated. Okay, sir. Sir, service apartment rented in Mumbai. Taxable since it is renting of residential property for what purpose? Because we are having an exemption. What exemption is saying under section 11 of the CGST Act? Renting of residential dwelling for residential purpose to an unregistered person are exempt from GST. But this is for what purpose? Commercial purpose. So taxable since it is renting of residential property for commercial purpose. Renting of temporary stay is considered as what purpose? Commercial purpose. Because if it is for residential purpose, it should be long term. Long term means monthly rent has to be paid, not the daily rent. Since you are paying daily rent, it is commercial in nature and not what man? Residential in nature. You tell me where the property is situated. Property is situated in Mumbai. Where? Mumbai, Maharashtra. Where we are situating? Maharashtra. That means location of the supplier and the place of supply are in the same state. It's a dash state supply. So intra-state supply, since place of supply is Maharashtra and property is located in Mumbai. Comfortable, sir? So for this 30,000, sir, we are supposed to collect what? CGST at the rate of 9% and SGST at the rate of 9%. Comfortable, sir? So what this question is teaching to us, we should be very well versed with the place of supply rules. Place of supply section 10, 11, 12 and 13 should be in the fingertips. It's a 10 mark area for examination, my dear lovable students. If you have already revised, well and good. Otherwise, sir, spend your 1 hour after this question to revise all the place of supply provision. That is a value addition you will be getting. Coming to, sir, point number 5. Recovery agent services provided to Mrs. Apex Finance Limited, an NBFC located in Delhi. We all know that, sir, recovery agent services is an RCM item. So 2 lakh. Sir, the service recipient is a person liable to pay tax on RCM. So we are not supposed to collect what? Output tax for this. How much lakh? 2 lakh. Recovery agent services provided to an NBFC. Sir, taxes payable by the NBFC under what CM? RCM. So we don't have any forward charge liability, hence nothing will be there. Are you all ready with me? So you should be very, sir, well versed with the RCM provisions also. Girls provision, goods transport agent, insurance agent, recovery agent, legal services by an arbitral tribunal, sponsorship services, security services, etc. And also the job, the immovable property, and the next one original work, and the last one bank. Please have a revision of that for, sir, 15-20 minutes. Because the entire 14 mark is stuffed here only. Right. Advance received during the month of future intra-state supply, my dear lovable students, which is how much lakh? 9 lakh. We all know that for advance notification will be applicable. We have already discussed that notification. Notification number 66 bar 2017 is applicable only for goods and not for. So for with regard to this, we have to check the point number 5. Out of advance received for future supply, 5 lakh relating to supply of goods and rest relating to what? Services. So out of 9 lakh advance, for 5 lakh, we are not liable to pay GST. Whereas for the remaining, how much lakh? 4 lakh, we have to pay GST because that 4 lakh is for, sir, supply of advance received for intra-state supply. Tax on advance received for supply of goods 5 lakh will be payable at the time of issue of invoice. That's what notification. Without knowing that notification, please don't go to examination hall. For goods, we are not supposed to pay GST on an advance basis. For goods, we are supposed to pay GST on an invoice basis. Whereas for services, we are supposed to pay GST on an advance basis. So 4 lakh into 9% comes to how much? 36,000. And 4 lakh into 9% comes to how much? 36,000. Comfortable, sir? So with that advance point also taken care. So basically we have done with the outward supply point. Now I am coming to the inward supply, man. Inward supply. Imported computer accessories. Imported means from outside India, from Korea, and goods landed in Mumbai port and reached at its registered premise on 31/1/2022. For which month we are looking? For January month, we are looking the computation of GST payable. Actually, we imported, man, for a value of how much lakh? 5 lakh. It is received on the last date of the current month. Where it received? It has received in Mumbai port. My dear lovable students, have it received in our premises? Sir, in order to claim ITC, 5 conditions should be satisfied. What are the 5 conditions, my dear lovable students? Sir, actual receipt of what or what or what? Goods or services or both, right? Import of computer accessories, input tax inter alia includes IGST charged on import of goods, right? Once you are importing any goods, as per section 3 subsection 7 of the QTA Customs Tariff Act, you are liable to pay IGST. That IGST can be taken as ITC. So you have paid, sir, the amount is 5 lakh. 5 lakh into 18%, 90,000 IGST you would have paid. My dear lovable students, this IGST paid can be taken as ITC. ITC. Sir, actual receipt of goods or services or both. Yes, the goods as actually received. So we are entitled to take what? ITC. Availed GTA services. Again, GTA may be a reverse charge mechanism. I will not say that GTA should be a reverse charge. GTA may be a reverse charge from Mrs. Speed Trans of Kolkata with regard to transport of traded goods, where rate of CGST and SGST is 2.5% each. IGST at 5% was applicable 1 lakh. So from the rate, we can understand that GTA has not adopted the forward charge mechanism. GTA is having the option to adopt the forward charge mechanism. Sir, if the GTA decided to collect 12% GST, it is forward charge mechanism. But they are decided to collect only 2.5% or 5%. But that doesn't mean that once they travel through forward charge, 5% should not be there. Even for what? Rate purpose, for ITC restriction, they can take registration and they can travel through how much percentage? Also 5% also. So my dear lovable students, sir, I'm moving into the GTA adjustment. You tell me GTA, we are supposed to pay tax at what CM? So RCM, man. GTA service availed from Mrs. Speed Trans. Tax is payable under what charge? Reverse charge. On the GTA services received by what person? And on which tax is payable at 5%. Further, it's a dash state supply. Since a supplier is located in Kolkata and place of supply is Maharashtra, which is location of the registered recipient. So how much is the freight, man? 1 lakh. For this 1 lakh, we are supposed to pay 5%, IGST 5% at what CM? RCM. So 5,000 we have to pay from our pocket as what CM? RCM. and this 5,000 can be taken as what? ITC. So in the computation of ITC, GTA services availed IGST on invoice received during the month. 1 lakh into 5% comes to how much? 5,000. Comfortable, sir? Yes, sir. So we should be very well versed with regard to the RCM provisions. Place of supply, make it thorough. RCM, make it thorough. If that is the case, you can touch first 14 mark question. Apart from the above, 15 invoices involving IGST of 1 lakh during the what month? Current month. Inward supply, that means we have purchased 15, sir, purchase bills we are having. Total value comes to how much lakh? 1 lakh. So for this 1 lakh, sir, since IGST of 1 lakh during the current month means we can take ITC basically. But out of that 15 invoice, whether all the invoice has been uploaded in the GSTR 1, 2A, all that we have to check. For that, we have to go through the notes. Mr. Rishi provide the following additional information. Turnover of the previous financial year was how much lakh? 21 lakh. That means in the immediately preceding previous year itself, their threshold limit for registration has been exceeded. My dear lovable students, they are a what person? A registered person. So if there is any threshold exemption, like legal services, like what? Government services, Sarkar services, all that exemption will not be applicable. Anyway, for GTA, that threshold exemption is not there. Right? Comfortable. He had availed service in interstate transaction with a taxable value of how much lakh? 4 lakh. And rate of tax to be how much percent? 18%. So they got, sir, input services. Transaction is liable to tax under what charge? The reverse charge. Payment for the same to the supplier was not made till the current month. Overdue for 180 days as at 1/1/2022. However, tax due under the said transaction was paid to the government and credit avail in the month of what itself? Transaction itself. A very good adjustment. From section 16, we all know that, sir, once a supplier has supplied, the recipient has to make the payment within 180 days from the supplier's invoice. With the supplier's invoice. If the recipient has not made the payment within 180 days from the supplier's invoice, on 181st day, whatever GST you have availed, ITC you have availed should be what? Reversed. Along with the interest should be added to the output tax liability. This is a provision. But that provision is not applicable to 3 circumstances. There are 3 exceptions are there for schedule 1 item. Because schedule 1 item, there is no concept of what at all? Consideration at all. If there is no concept of consideration, my dear lovable students, where the concept of 180 days payment are coming. Number 2 is 15 subsection 2 clause B. B stands for belong. Amount incurred by the recipient on behalf of the what? Supplier. That payment cannot be made. The third one is RCM. With regard to RCM, the recipient is the person who are liable to pay the tax. So, supplier, sir, would not pay the tax on FCM. So, the recipient cannot take it as what? ITC. So, there will not be wrong availment of ITC. Now, you read the point. I have recalled the provision. He has availed service in what state transaction? In interstate transaction. With a taxable value of how much lakh? 4 lakh. With a taxable value of 4 lakh. And tax rate of how much percent? This transaction was liable to tax under what charge? Reverse charge. So we availed the service. That means it's an inward supply. On this inward supply, we are the person who are liable to pay tax at what CM? RCM. Sir, if a transaction is covered under RCM, 180 days concept will not be, which is one of the exception out of the 3 exception. So payment for the same to the supplier was not made till the current month, overdue for 181 days as at 1/1/2022. However, tax due under the said transaction was paid to the government and credit availed in the month of what itself? Transaction itself. So tell me, are we liable to pay any reversal, sir? No, sir. Because this is what? NSCM. RCM. So with regard to RCM, my dear lovable students, we'll read the notes for the RCM. Yes, here. ITC reversal, outward supply, tax on which is payable under what charge? Reverse charge, is considered as exempt supply for the purpose of reversal of ITC. Sir, the condition for making the payment for supply within how many days? 180 days. so that ITC availed does not get added to the what tax liability, does not apply to what charge supply. Thus, ITC on 4 lakh will not be affected. So, my dear lovable students, this 4 lakh, you look at here, this 4 lakh actually is taxable on what charge basis? Reverse charge basis. For an item which is going to be taxed on what charge basis? Reverse charge basis. 180 days concept will not be applicable. So we are not supposed to reverse the ITC. So for that 4 lakh, we are not supposed to do anything. I'm reading once again that adjustment for your benefit. He had availed service. My dear lovable students, availed means what? Receipt, inward supply. In a dash state transaction. In a state with a transaction value of how much lakh? 4 lakh. And tax at a tax rate of? This transaction was liable to tax under what charge? Payment for the same to the supplier was not made till the what month? Overdue for 181 days on 1st February itself. Our tax due under the said transaction was what to the government? And credit availed in the month of dash itself. Transaction itself. But we have paid the tax. Hello, sir. We availed the ITC, but consideration has not been paid to the supplier. Hello, sir. Sir, there is no condition that you have to make the payment within how many days? 180 days for a supply under RCM. Fantastic to the court. I am coming to the next adjustment, adjustment number 3. Out of 15 invoices, my dear lovable students, because in above they said that, sir, apart from the above, received how many invoices? 15 invoices. For that, the IGST of 1 lakh during the current month, they are saying no. Out of that 15 invoices, 12 invoices involving IGST of how much? Was uploaded by the supplier in GSTR1. Very good. That means you are entitled to take credit of IGST credit of how much? All the invoices are eligible for claiming as ITC. That means the remaining 5,000 will be swaha. Because out of 1 lakh rupees IGST, my dear lovable students, hello, only 95,000 IGST is reflected in GSTR1. That means they have filed the GSTR1. That means it is reflected in the GSTR2A or GSTR2B as the only that is entitled to take what? Invoice uploaded by supplier in the GSTR1. Return is reflected in GSTR2B of Mr. Rishi. That is how much? 95,000 only can be claimed. So even though IGST paid is 1 lakh, 5,000 rupees bill value has not been uploaded by the supplier in GSTR1. Till that time, it will not be reflected in GSTR2A or GSTR2B. Then we can't take it as ITC. Comfortable with the point? Coming to the next one. He has sent goods valued rupees 1 lakh to his job worker in the state of Kerala. That means job worker is situated in interstate, who further processed the said goods and made direct supply on 3/1/2022 from Kerala to a buyer in the state of Maharashtra. You tell me, sir, principal can send the goods to the job worker, but job worker either has to return those goods or sell that goods within 1 year from the date of sending the goods. With regard to the capital goods, it is how many years? 3 years. Surely we are having extension are there. 1 year for raw material and 2 year for capital goods, because the life of the capital goods should not exceed 5 years. That is why the life is extension is maximum how much year? 2 year. But here they have not said anything about the extension criteria and all. My dear lovable students, when they have sent 1 lakh to the job worker who further process and 31/1/2022 they have sent, right man? So we have to check whether it is what man? Within 1 year or not. Is it allowed? Is it allowed to sell the goods from the job worker premises by a principal? Yes, sir. So finished goods sold from the premises of job worker. Sir, supply of goods by principal from the job worker's premise is regarded as what? Supply by principal only, irrespective of the location of the what worker? Job worker. Therefore, since the place of supply is a location where the movement of goods terminate for delivery to the recipient, that is what? Maharashtra. It's a dash state supply. Actually, the supply has been made by the job worker. It is allowed under section 143 of the act. My dear lovable students, revise section 143 immediately after this question. Section 143 is a very important exclusive CA final part. So, a principal can sell goods on behalf of the what worker? Job worker. If, sir, from the premise of the job worker, but it will still be treated as supply has been made by the principal. So where is the location of the principal? Location of the principal is Maharashtra, and also the location of the place of supply is place where the movement terminates. Where the movement is terminating, Maharashtra. It's a dash state supply. For this 1 lakh, sir, 1 lakh into 9% come to 9,000. 1 lakh into 9% come to 9,000. Principal is liable. Principal is liable to pay this tax. Fantastic to the course, sir. Coming to the next one. Out of advance received, we have already taken care. Rate of CGST, SGST and IGST are 9%, 9% and 18% respectively for both inward and outward supply of goods and services. Some rate is also applicable for inward supply received except where otherwise provided. All amount given above are exclusive of taxes wherever applicable. From the information given above, you are required to compute the net what liability payable in cash, CGST, SGST, IGST as the what may be. For the month of January, assessee want to make the cash payment of GST under SGST at for as far as possible. So they want to make the payment under SGST means try to knock off the credit against the CGST and IGST. Fine, we have already find out the computation of GST payable, everything pakka. So total GST, CGST collected 54,900, SGST collected 54,900 and IGST is 1,08,000. Sir, there is one RCM, 5,000 rupees has to be paid as RCM. That can be taken as what? ITC. So my dear lovable students, sir, you are having credit of 90,000 plus 95,000 plus 5,000. What is the total credit available? 1,90,000. Less ITC reversed, sir. Less ITC reversed here. Input tax reversed, outward supply, tax on which is payable under what charge? Reverse charge is considered as what supply? Exempt supply for the supply for the purpose. Sir, even in the last question, sir, yesterday we have done common credit into E by F. We all know that E, exempt supply, include the taxable on RCM. Is there any supply to be taxed on RCM, sir? So let's ITC to be reversed towards outward supply. Is there any outward supply on which tax is liable to be RCM? Tax on which is payable under what charge? Reverse charge is considered as what supply? Exempt supply. For the purpose of reversal of ITC, you tell me what is the total common credit? You total it, sir. 90,000 plus 95,000 plus 5,000 comes to 1,90,000. Right, man. So 1,90,000 into, you tell me what is the exempt supply turnover? What is the exempt supply and what is the total supply? Recovery agent. Yes, sir. Fantastic to the core. We have made supply to a recovery agent. For that, the recovery agent is liable to pay tax at RCM. So that is the what? Outward supply. That is exempt supply. 2 lakh. Divided by, you tell me how much is the total turnover? Total turnover from start. You have to add each and every item one by one. Tell me, number one by one. We can make a note here. Number one. What is that? 6 lakh. Computer supply is 6 lakh. Super, sir. Number two. Yes, sir. Number two. What is that? 80,000. Stock counting services 80,000. Number three. Renting services 30,000. Recovery agent services 2 lakh. Advance received actually 9 lakh. Out of that 9 lakh, 5 lakh is for goods, but 4 lakh is for services. So 4 lakh. Is there any other item? Sir. So 6 lakh plus 80,000 plus 30,000 plus 2 lakh plus 4 lakhs comes to 13 lakh 10,000. You look at here. What is the total turnover they are having? 19 lakh 10,000. What is the difference between 13 lakh 10,000 and 19 lakh 10,000? 6 lakh. What is that? 6 lakh difference. Total advance they have included. What? How much is the total advance? 9 lakhs. But we have taken only how much lakh? 4 lakh. 4 lakh is for supply of what? Services. So there is a supply of what also? Goods also. To the extent of 5 lakhs. That means Sir, advances for goods, how much lakh? 5 lakh. Sir, still, yes, for job work sale, man, job work sale is how much lakh? 1 lakh. That is also your outward supply. It will not be treated as a supply of the job worker. It will be treated as a supply of the principal. So you tell me, what is the total turnover? 19 lakh 10,000. Are you all really with me? Sir, if you manually work out only, you will understand what and all should be included. My dear lovable students, that's why instead of just reading 19 lakh 10,000, I have worked out that. So you tell me, what is the total credit? Total common credit? 1,90,000 into what is the exempt turnover? 2 lakh divided by 19 lakh 10,000 comes to 18,000, 19,895. But my dear lovable students, here less I input tax reversed, outward supply tax on which is payable under what charge? Reverse charge is considered as exempt supply. There is no doubt about it. For the purpose of reversal of what? ITC. They were having 1,95,000. But you are saying that, sir, 1,90,000. There is a difference of 5,000. Can you find out what is that difference of 5,000? 5,000 GTA services. So that we have included here now. GTA avail services 5,000. Search in the question. How we are getting 1,90,000? Why they are getting 1,95,000? Look at the question. Look at the question. Go through. You try to find out. So actually, they have taken as 1,95,000. That 5,000 extra maybe because of the all invoices are eligible for claiming as ITC. And this is a November 20 question. In that November 20, even though it has not been reflected in GSTR 2B, you are entitled to take it as what? ITC. But now, only once it, sir, affected or reflected in the GSTR 2B, we are entitled to take ITC. So the common credit will be 1,90,000 into 2 lakh divided by 19 lakh 10,000. So instead of this 20,419, 19,895. So my dear lovable students, the total ITC available for set off will be 1,69,581. Shall we calculate the net GST payable in cash? Total GST liability on outward supply, we already calculated 54,900, 54,900 and 1,08,000. That is CGST, SGST and IGST. This we have already calculated. There is no problem or confusion in this. Less ITC of IGST, we have to first knock off the IGST credit. IGST credit first we have to knock off. So, sir, the total IGST credit is, IGST payable is 1 lakh. How much? 8,000. We are having 1 lakh. How much rupees total IGST credit? 70,000. 105 is the IGST. So that you can set off against the 1,08,000. So balance how much will be coming? 62,105. Okay, man. SGST payable is 54,900. Is there any SGST credit? No, sir. So that will become ultimately payable. CGST payable is 54,900. Is there any CGST credit? Is there any CGST credit? No, sir. So CGST payable will be Pakka CGST payable, sir. But they want less amount of payable in SGST. So whatever you are having IGST balance credit or not? Yes, sir. How much balance credit? So that you set off 62,105, you set off against the SGST because they want less payable in SGST or CGST. They want less payable in SGST or CGST. They want to pay more cash in SGST. So you can knock off this against the CGST. So you will be getting CGST payable as nil, SGST payable of this amount based upon the number calculation, it will change, man. And the IGST payable will become 0, but we are having RCM that has to be paid through the electronic cash ledger of 5,000. This is for the RCM which cannot be set off against the electronic credit ledger. So 5,000 has to be paid. I hope that you are comfortable with illustration number 12. So what are the major important things we have to revise in this, my dear lovable students? The first one is the first adjustment. They are talking about the related definition, related party. Then number 2 is, sir, consignment supplied. Very simple, which is that is bill to ship transaction. Then, sir, what is the definition of the recipient they are talking about? Then residential or commercial renting of residential dwelling they are talking about. Recovery agent services. Because of this only we are having the big problem, because recovery agent is liable to pay tax on RCM. Then apportionment concept will be applicable, because inside the E, sir, E includes the turnover of the RCM. Advance receipt we have already taken care. Import item we have already taken care. All the remaining are normal man, except that 1,90,000 and 1,95,000. I hope that you are able to appreciate or understand the fourth part in a very, very better way. We'll be doing the next 3 questions, which is illustration number 13, 14 and 15 as next slot. Sir, revise this. Not only revise, sit and do the question. Then you will be having a perfect clarity of this. We'll meet with the next set. Till that, thank you and bye-bye from A&M.